Hello, gorgeous souls, and welcome back to another one of my Spiritual Queens Badass podcast episodes. Today, I am absolutely delighted to have the wonderful Amanda Francis with us. So, Amanda, if you don't know, is a world renowned thought leader on financial empowerment for women. Through her wildly popular digital courses, her best selling book, Rich as Fuck, and her She Rises podcast and free daily content, meditations, and trainings distributed across her social media channels daily. She empowers women to design lives and businesses they are wildly obsessed with. Welcome to the show, Amanda. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
The pleasure is mine. I first came across your work when I read Rich as Fuck, and it was one of those books that really changed so much for me. Like, I've read so much on money manifestation over the years, and I feel like, you know, when you pick up a book and you think, surely I can't learn anything more. But actually, it really awakened so much for me in my money journey and money mindset and up leveling in business as well. So I knew when I read it, I had to get you on and I had to ask you some incredible questions to introduce your wonderful work to my audience as well. But before we dive into all of your goodness, Amanda, I would love to know, when did you spiritually awaken? What's your story?
A little bit all the time for a very long time, I would say. So I think I always had an awareness of and curiosity about something greater, God, always. From the age of about 9, I had my parents drop me off at church every Sunday. That's not a normal thing for a 9-year-old to want or do. So there was always the curiosity of what is God and what is all of this. And I'm kind of an extreme person. I took that to the extreme. I went to ministry training school out of high school, and then I worked in a church. Then I went to Bible college. So we had all this, this religion. But for me, it wasn't just religion, it was relationship with divine, and spirituality in my path. And then there became a point where I was like, okay, I got older and I was like, what else is there? And so I studied like Buddhism and Hinduism, and I got really into yoga. And then later I discovered New Age things, and I found it all pointed me back to the same truths, like the truths that were beyond truth, the truths that were bigger than religion, right?
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting my master's in counseling and becoming a therapist. And my main objective from then to now was helping women with these like spiritual and energetic principles that I had come to understand and work fairly well in my life. So that was kind of the whole focus. And I surprisingly surprised myself. It was not originally the plan. When I directed all I knew toward money, it was really effective for people, and it was really effective for myself. And it was really enjoyable for me to kind of flip money on its head and make money be a love based, service based, God based, goodness based thing.
Mm.
And here we are.
And I think that's so important because, especially when I first found spirituality, the law of attraction, and Buddhism, even back in, 2015, 2016, it was almost like money and spirituality was very separated. It was like you can be spiritual, but you can't be rich as fuck. You know, you can be
Yeah.
spiritual and be conscious, but there's this huge disconnection between money and spirit or faith, belief, whatever you want to call it, in the spiritual sphere. And there's so many amazing spiritual businesses and spiritual owners, or even people who are just, spiritually aware, who almost have this love-hate relationship with money. So it's interesting
Yeah.
why there is that big, like a huge disconnect in the spiritual sphere. Why do you think that being spiritual and being rich just don't naturally go hand in hand?
I think we've all just seen rich people do bad shit with money, and it became synonymous. But it doesn't have to be. I always say that like good people do good things with money. Good-hearted people do good-hearted things with money. Money doesn't change you, money amplifies you. I truly believe that. I have not become a different person at all as I've made something like $30 million in the life of my business. Like I am the same me. And when you notice, but it's like anything else. So I was gonna say is when you notice money amplifying something in you don't like. Say money is amplifying like some demandingness or some brattiness or something that's not a very cute quality. You have a chance to look at it and go, is this who I want to be in life? You still get to be the observer of your world, the dictator of your own self, and decide who you're going to be in life. But this happens with everything. People find themselves behaving in ways they don't like in relationships, or behaving in ways they don't like with family, or once they have children, or once they get this job or that job. It's not that money makes us bad, it's just that life challenges us, in all things. But for
Mm.
spiritual people to not have money, the problem is we need the spiritual people to have the money so that we can vote with our dollar, so that we can spend on things we believe in, so that we can buy, the things that matter, from the kind of produce we buy and the farmers we support to the organizations we can donate to politically and otherwise. We need the spiritual people to be empowered financially.
Mm, absolutely. Absolutely. So, your book, Rich as Fuck, has been hugely, hugely successful. So, if anyone hasn't read it, you need to. It's amazing. But what does it mean to you to be rich as fuck? And what has your money journey looked like?
It's been such a fucking journey. So I think the reason the path became so appealing to me as I started to get free with money is I know what it looks like to really, really not be free with money. It looks like and feels like. My mom had tremendous fear around money, like stood in the kitchen clipping coupons and writing out the expenses and looking at how we were short every month, and just totally freaked out, on edge, nervous system activated for like years, years. And it like transferred onto me. I felt guilty for asking for things I needed for school, like tremendously guilty for like existing, that I existed and that money was going to be required for me to like exist as a child. It was just like, it was the fear of money was the lens by which my family saw everything too through, like this fear, this scarcity, that's not enough. So, as I went to school and started my business and made money and chose to have really positive beliefs around money, like really intentionally, I remember being like in my early 20s and thinking, I don't want to think that around money. I don't want to create that around money. Just being aware that like I was not going to do it the same way. And that has just kind of multiplied, amplified. I've built upon that for a really long time, from just like, you know what? I don't want to say things like more money, more problems, because I don't want that to be my reality, to like, what if money was really on my side? What if money was like my friend? What if money was part of my support system? So yeah, I don't know, started from the bottom, now we're here, something like that.
The classic saying. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important that we do see money as a relationship as well. I think there's always that, working on your relationship with yourself, working on your relationship with your partner, your family, your friends, when actually it's working on your relationship with money as well is just as important, and really seeing it as that provider. Because I think,
Yeah.
and for myself, I've always thought like, well, I have to go earn the money and I have to provide and I have to support myself. When actually, I really loved the shifts in your book around actually, no, money can support me. Money can help, can be the provider for me as well. It's not just
Yeah.
me doing something and getting that money in exchange. It's really
Yeah, like
fascinating.
what if the energy of money is working with me? Because when
Mm,
everything that's just inanimate, like I don't know, like my pool, or like my umbrellas next to my pool, like it's like we have like no meaning to it. Like what can that chair do for me other than when I sit
mm,
in it? Like, so we think of money as like this paper, this like evil paper that we don't know how to work with, we don't know how to use, and it's against us, and it's for people but it's not for us, and like it's scarce, and it's like this horrible inanimate object. But like if we take all that away and look at the energy behind it, it's like a living, breathing, circulated, moving thing. So we have to personify it a little bit, I think, to be able to realize we are in relationship and it can work with us.
absolutely. Absolutely. So we're talking a lot about the energetics of money, which is great. But a lot of people want to manifest money. I feel like that's definitely something that everybody at some points wants to manifest in large amounts or small amounts. But what are some common blocks that you see when it comes to money manifestation?
I mean, to put it like bluntly, all the things that tell us we can't have it. It can be a huge one is just not feeling worthy of it. Like I said, believing it's not for someone like you. I don't come, how it sounded in my mind, like I don't come from a family like that. I don't come from a place like that. Like that's not possible for me. And then I did this crazy thing and I put myself into very expensive private schools for undergrad and grad school after the ministry training part. My undergrad and my grad school were incredibly expensive. And I was there on student loans. And I was surrounded by people who had money, people who could afford it. And so this like dichotomy going on of here's all these kids who don't worry about money, who are supported by money through their families, and some that were putting themselves from school just by working their ass off. But like there was definitely this like separation. And will I view myself as separate? Will I view myself as different? Or will I do my best to learn from and observe and look at what it's like to be trusting around money and expectant around money and confident around money? Like my parents found the way, I found a way too. Here we go. Like, what will I learn from these people? From little things like the fact that they all had IRAs, that they were maxing out every year, they all had retirement accounts. Like, so what is that? Can I go open up one of those to like the emotional things, like I just said, around how I perceive myself and what I judge and what I compare? I don't know. So, my point being, we fuck ourselves up all day long with our limiting beliefs, with our perceived differences, and with all the reasons in our mind that it can't work for us. And we call those limiting beliefs. And our beliefs are powerful, and the universe and God and life and whatever words you use won't override our free will. So if your free will is going, it's not for me, it's not for me, it's not for me, it's not for me, you're going to walk all around all day with that confirmation bias of finding reasons that it's not for you. And you're going to be like, see, I knew it wasn't for me. But really, truly, you didn't open yourself up to it. You didn't go for it. You didn't create it. You didn't step into it. You didn't allow it. You didn't structure your life, your business, your career, your whatever. And this isn't just about how we receive money through businesses or through careers, because I've had plenty of stay at home moms and stay at home parents and people between jobs and without jobs and minimum wage jobs, whatever, tell me my book and my courses change things for them. But it's no matter what your life path is, are you open to money, like truly, truly open? Or do you have a lot of beliefs and ideas and thoughts and emotions and energies blocking you all the live long day? And most of us do. Even after you're a fucking multimillionaire, you'll still make up reasons why money can't keep working for you. And you'll go like, what was that? You know?
It's like, as Denise Duffel Thomas says, new level, new devil. Millionaires still have problems. They still have limiting beliefs. And I think it's so easy to forget that, of like, oh, it's only us who are wanting to manifest the money who have the beliefs and the restrictions, not like, the
No, our
people who
mind's
have
gonna
got
act,
there.
yeah, our mind's gonna act crazy forever. It's never gonna stop. And I would say it's actually new level, like same devil. Like it's your, I find with people, like we work through a layer of our childhood trauma, our childhood beliefs or whatever, and then we hit like a new, I don't think I'm encountering a lot of like new doubles. I think I'm just like, there's just the new levels of things that you've kind of worked through that you got to kind of hit the new layer of again to go deeper in what you believe you can have, to
Absolutely.
solidify it more again and again and again.
Yeah. And I love how you shared the example there of, instead of being in those situations and being, maybe jealous or bitter or being like, how can they have this easy? And I've got all these loans. And, I've really had to like
100%.
put myself in this space, in this debt to be here. But actually, I find that, not that we should put ourselves in debt if it doesn't feel good, of course not. But even just being in that energy of then aligning yourself with, well, actually, what is their energy and frequency like? And how can I match my energy to that? How can I become that energetic match to what they're receiving and what they're experiencing? Like you said, with the pensions and things, like they're maxing that out every month. So again, it's sometimes really helpful to put yourself in those situations if you can, to
A
because you're going to
hundred
learn from it.
percent. And I did it repeatedly. I was very curious about how rich people thought, like
Mm.
thought and felt. I just really wanted to know what it was like for them. And so it came in a lot of different forms at a lot of different times. But the intro to my book, I'm sitting at that pool at that hotel I can't afford to stay at. And that was so intentional. But going there, not viewing myself as separate or different as the poor girl from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, like took a little bit of work. You have to step outside of yourself and outside of your own ego if you want to be able to like crack the code on all of this.
Mm, absolutely. One of the biggest blocks I see, Amanda, is the hows. I get asked all the time, but how am I going to manifest it? I'm going to fix salary, Emma. How can I manifest more money? So what would you say to someone who is on a fixed income or salary and is blocked by questioning the hows when receiving money?
I don't know if I said this in my book, but I have said this. There is no, I did say this in my book. I'm remembering now. There is no, one of my beliefs is there's no such thing as a fixed income. Our income is fixed by our beliefs, period. And if you'll just open up to that idea for a minute, that there's no such thing as a fixed income truly, just be open to that, and go through the pages of the book or listen to this podcast or whatever the journey is for a person. Open up to that idea and you'll begin to see opportunities and possibilities. I was just reading a testimonial this morning from someone in Money Mentality Makeover who said something like, I'm a teacher that I don't know why my income went up for 4% this year. It's just there. Well, I don't fucking know why either, but I love that for you. I love it for the people who, whether it's like the random check in the mail that we talk about or whatever it is, like, it's not going to be able to happen for you if you're believing it's impossible all day long. So I say the how isn't our responsibility, and it is, but it isn't. It isn't in the sense that if we're stuck on the how, we can't get anywhere. And it is in the sense that, like, we need to go through life being open to the opportunity, open to the action that brings it in. And we're going to have to do our part, whatever that is, but you don't really need to know your part ahead of time. The first big step is just being open and willing, you know,
Yeah.
for it to start to go differently for you.
Absolutely. Because when you're open to all possibilities. But if you're
Yeah.
closed, you're so fixated on, well, I think it has to happen like this. And I know that it can only happen that way or that way. And there's no other way that it can happen. But, we've seen time and time again with any manifestation or any miracle in life that we think we know how it's going to happen. But the universe, God, source is always like, aha,
Yeah.
well, actually, I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to
Right.
give you a whole different way.
Right. And why limit God? I say in Money Mentality Makeover, like I think in the first module, that you're essentially tying God's hands behind his back when you tell him he can't do it. Why the
Mhm.
fuck would you do that? Wouldn't it be better to have God on your side than tell God he can't? Sounds crazy to me, you know?
I love that. I love that analogy. And it's almost like holding the universe to ransom, like, you must deliver it like this, when it's like, we can't see the bigger picture. We can't see the greater good, or maybe that actually receiving it in the way that we think is good could actually maybe harm us or not be for our highest good. And actually, the way that it comes could actually be even bigger and better with even more money.
100%. I'm looking right here in my backyard. It would has to be like a 200-foot tall tree. If it is possible for like sunlight and water and photosynthesis and air and whatever the fuck to grow a tree 200 feet, like, I just think getting a little bit of money to us is not a bigger miracle than what we're looking at all the time. A little bit or a
Mm,
lot of it. Like, it's not that deep, but we have made it so hard. And usually when I say things like this, it's so like, but it's so easy for you to say because you're this, you're that, you're that. But it wasn't easy for me to say. I had to start saying this stuff when it really, 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 really was not easy because I knew no one in my world, no one, no one that had done what I believed I could do when it came to changing my path with money, you know?
mm, absolutely. So I want to know, Amanda, your go-to rituals or practices to manifest money. What do you love to do?
It depends on like the situation or the setting or the moment. There's a lot of little things. Like, this morning I was doing yoga in the sunshine over here in my backyard. And when it came to Shavasana, I try to always take a moment whenever I can. It could be a peaceful moment in yoga or taking a walk or working out or driving down the road, but holding coffee in the morning. Whenever I just have like a pause, I try to take a moment and just feel the feelings of money coming in. Just feel the vibe, feel the energy. It's coming, it's mine. It's meant to be mine. It's made to be mine. I was made to do, have, and be this, to receive this. Just like going into that for a second, I find to be very powerful to me, like bring myself back to the truth that I decided is true for me. So there's that. And then if another one that's a little bit more like, I don't know, forceful, punchy, like a little, I don't know, potent. If I'm like in a launch or something, or if I'm coming up on the end of a month or an end of a quarter and in an enrollment period or something, I like to really track it. Like I'll look and I'll be like, okay, I have whatever, this much money till my $1 million month, $1 million quarter, $1 million. I have this much left. whatever the goal is for that moment. And then I'll like count it down. I'll look and see, okay, that's 79 more people paying in full. So like I'll have a little note on my phone where I'm like 79, 78, 77, and I'm like counting it down and I'm getting excited as we're getting closer. And I think the reason it's so fun is because I've been doing this a long fucking time as far as calling in money, like a long time. And the goal still every single time it looks like it can't happen. It always just looks like there's not enough days left, there's not enough hours left. Like this really, it's just really not going to work out this time. But it's funny, you count down and you get closer and you start seeing how it's fucking possible. And then you're in the
Mm.
energy of possibility and the energy of it coming in and the energy of abundance. And then every time I'm like, huh, well, we did it again, you know?
Yeah. And I think I found over my journey, like awareness is a huge thing with money manifestation. If you don't know how much you've got, how can you be grateful for that? And if you
How much you
can't.
got, how much you want. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I do exactly the same with my membership. Each intake I have like a goal of what I'd love to achieve, and then I count down every time a member joins. I do exactly the same as you on my phone. And it feels so exciting and it feels so amazing to give gratitude for that person joining. And like you
Yeah.
say, building that momentum, and you can see the evidence of wow, okay, these are real people signing up, and you're seeing that money really coming in. And even if you don't have a business, because obviously we're using business examples here, an
Yeah.
abundance log, I don't know if you've heard of these, Amanda. Abundance logs are a great way to literally track the money that's coming in, new money, random checks in the post, refunds, whatever, like tracking that
No, I
money.
love
You'll be,
that.
you'll be
100%.
able to see it.
Anything that gets someone in the vibe of, oh my God, it's working. Oh my God, it's for real. Oh my God, I can do this. So, yeah, tracking it in any form will help get you there.
Exactly. So, Amanda, you teach us to be queens of money too. So, how can we become the queen of our money?
Know that you have power over it. Know that your financial reality is not just something happening to you. I understand that the circumstances and like the situations and where you come from and all these things have happened to you. But let's just start from right now. As an empowered individual, nothing is happening to you. You have a lot of control and say on how things go from here. So, if we're going to be money queens, be the queen. Be the queen of your life, be the queen of your world, be the queen of your money. So there's that. So I would say, like, take that massive responsibility. And then from there, don't do things that don't fucking feel good with money. So here's how I work that in my life. So I'm doing like construction, like major construction on this house. And like construction is expensive. And maybe I don't feel like spending money on something that seems so fucking stupid. Like it's so stupid that this is how much it costs. So my job in that moment is either to get behind that amount of money. Like it was $100,000 to paint the inside of this house. It's so stupid. So my job was either to go, okay, can I make it to where it's worth $100,000 to me, where I'm like behind it, where I'm excited about it, where I'm good with it, like let's go? Or do I need to do it a different way? Do I need to tell them we're painting this half of the downstairs and this half of the downstairs? Do I need to do it in a way? Does it feel better? Do I need to ask for a payment plan? Can I pay this $100,000 over 3 months? Do I need to add like what can I do so I feel good about how I use money? Because when it feels like this bill is due and now the mortgage is due or the rent is due or like I have to pay this, and it's always like leaving you and you have no say, we're not going to feel very good. We're not going to feel very empowered. So you either have to get behind it, shift how you're thinking about it, or you have to eliminate it. I'm not painting the house right now, or you have to find a way to like manage it differently. But don't do things that don't feel good around money. That's going to help you feel power, ownership, responsibility again. Okay,
Mm.
so from there, what else do I want people to do to feel like queens around money? Like we've been saying this whole time, open up to the idea that this can happen for you, that it can work for you, that money can be on your side, in your favor, for your good, always. Read my motherfucking book if you're struggling with that. It's on Amazon for like $13. You have no excuse. And there's an audio book, there's an ebook that's like $4. So get some kind of version of it, and be in the vibe, open up to it. And then through these teaching and these principles and keeping things like this in your ear, this podcast, my book, whatever it is, keep these things in your ear and in your mind, it's going to start to seem more logical to you. It's going to start to make more sense to you. You're going to brainwash yourself in the best way, so to speak. Your mind is going to start thinking in ways of like, huh, what if I do this? What if I try this? Oh, look, it's working, etc. So take responsibility, feel good about how you use it intentionally, use it well. If it's just paying the light bill, have so much gratitude for every bill you pay and what it's providing for you. You get around good shit, around good content, around money to start to like renew and rearrange and change your mind and change your energy. I would say that'd be a really good start to some queen vibes.
Yes, love that. Love that. And I think as well, even like simple practices, for someone who's like, I have this huge unexpected bill that's come in, and Amanda, it doesn't feel good to pay this. So how can I feel good to part with this money? Even like you say, just saying like, thank you for allowing me to pay this bill in full on time. Thank you, universe. Or like you say,
100%.
looking at other ways around it of, can you pay it in part payments? How can you do something to make it feel good? I think it's great advice, because I think so much in the spiritual or manifestation sphere is very sort of like mindset work or even spiritual focus, when actually sometimes we need the practicalities and the kind of logic to be like, how can we make this look that little bit different and but feel better,
Totally.
so that actually the energetics really match that.
100%, because I have like millions of dollars available to me. I can pay for the painting. That's not the point. The point is I don't use money in ways that don't feel good. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I had to do so what happened with this was I do think we paid it off in like 3 months or something. I think that's how it ended up going. I don't know. This house has had like so much. So, I mean, like at the beginning of this call, I was like, okay, the guys are installing stuff in the bathroom. I have to go downstairs and go outside. Anyway, so the way it ended up going was that I did pay it off like over 3 months, I believe, even though I had the money to do it, because that felt better to me and felt more spacious to me. And it's important that I feel better and it's important that I feel spacious. That's the point. But I also had to be in extreme gratitude at how like beautiful every wall in this house looks, like, because if I go around fucking pissed about money I spent, how is that opening up to more money? How is that working for me? So instead, we're really grateful for the hunter green bar here in the dining room and the gray wall right there. Like, thank God I can pay the light bill, pay for the painting, pay for the fence around the pool so my child doesn't fall in. Like, I don't, like, we gotta, yeah, be thankful for every dollar we spend and every dollar we release. Gratitude kind of fills the whole thing with grace and with joy and makes it flow way more smoothly.
Mm, always love that. Well, Amanda, my final question to you today then is, what is one piece of life advice that you'd like to leave my lovely listeners with?
Life advice? Hmm. Know you're amazing. Just know you're amazing. Know and live as though you're the fucking shit, no matter what anyone thinks or says about it. Because truly, in the end, you have to have you. But when you have you, you find that a lot of other people have you too. And yeah, you've got you, God's got you, money's got you, life's got you, love's got you. Yeah, I don't know. Just be
Love that.
amazing. Know you're amazing.
Beautiful. Love that, Amanda. So, where can everybody find you if they want to learn more about your work and dive into all of your money goodness?
I am XO Amanda Francis on Instagram and Facebook and that X place and Threads. What else? And Pinterest. I'm XO Amanda Francis everywhere. My website is amandafrancis.com. I have I have a podcast called And She Rises the Fuck Up. Um, and my book is called Rich as Fuck.
Amazing.
Available on
And we'll
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Target. You can read about it on Goodreads. Yeah, rich as fuck with a little star over the U and fuck.
Amazing. And we'll put clickable links to all of Amanda's work in the description below, so you have some nice, easy, clickable links. But thank you so much, Amanda, for today. It's been such a joy speaking with you. It's been so amazing to learn from you and ask you these incredible questions. And I know that everybody listening will have got so much from this. So thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It was very fun.